what's up, adventurers? I'm Tyler. We're here at Overland Expo East 2024. You can see behind me are the Ineos Grenadiers. This is one of the most popular demo events here. We got to drive it, so we're going to go through kind of what it's like in the cockpit and driving them. And then I talked to Tim Pettit, one of the guys that explains the very unique drivetrain and suspension setup on these vehicles.
The first thing you should know is that the test loop was very slick. Thick Carolina clay at its slickest, snottiest, and stickiest. So it was all the more impressive that the Grenadier could crawl over wet logs coated in it without skipping a beat. The next section was just a mess of small rises and dips with mud that had been pushed and mashed into rut after rut until there was simply no good line. Still, we could crisscross it, accelerate, or just grind through it with no problems.
We're in our off-road mode right now. So your anti-lock braking system, your electronic stability control, they're completely turned off.
Airbags turned off now?
No. But we won't need them, right?
So tell me about all these switches on the roof here.
So these are auxiliary. It's pre-wired for if you wanted to add a light bar across the front or anything that a lot of off-roaders tend to add.
Right. It's
already pre-wired for it. So
are there ports like on the exterior, like up top and on the bumper for whatever?
There are 2 under the hood, 2 up here on the roof, in the front, 2 in the rear. Those are the ones that I remember off the top of my head. Sorry, Tyler, I didn't know you were going to have a camera. I would have studied a little bit more.
All the diffs, the center diff, rear locker, front locker, is that all just push button, or you have a?
So the center diff here is mechanical. So
Okay.
this is like our old school where you pull up the collar and you select. All right. The locking rear and front, those are push button. And so you just press that, and then once it's illuminated, then it's locked. And you can lock it and unlock it on the fly. Let's go.
What's locked right now?
The rear diff.
Okay,
And the center diff.
Okay, and center diff.
And so this is the what we call the Trialsmaster version of the Grenadier. If you get the Field Master, it doesn't come with the lockers.
Okay.
It's still a full-time 4-wheel drive, still high and low range.
The Grenadier uses solid axles front and rear, just like a Jeep. Having driven my friend's Rubicon on similar terrain out west, it was ultra capable, but it just felt a little rough. The Grenadier, however, felt ridiculously smooth, refined even. It's impressive how level it's able to stay through these alternating dips. A second route on the other side of the trail had deeper holes in it, and it crawled right through them, putting the front and rear tires in the air without skipping a beat. I'd hardly call this rock crawling, but it was a good test of its ability to handle small, irregular bumps. All in all, pretty smooth, especially with the tires aired down. Maybe most impressive, given the conditions, was its ability to creep up this giant mound. Credit to BF Goodrich's tires, which were either KO2 or KO3. The center screen can show vehicle pitch and roll angles as you drive, which is cool. There's definitely some hood to look over as you crest a hill, but the front tires are pretty much at the corners, making it easier to place them on or around obstacles. The demo vehicles were each equipped with varying degrees of accessories, and we'll look at some of the best features in a minute. But first, here's a quick walk around the exterior, and then a good look underneath the vehicle to see how it all works. The Grenadier is unique in that it's quite literally designed from the ground up for off-road exploration and overlanding. As such, the bumpers, ground clearance, and factory features means it's ready to go adventuring right off the lot.
Hi, I'm Tim Pettit, the product specialist for Ineos Automotive. Just a quick overview of some of the components that we see underneath, the mechanical components. So as we see them, we can see we've got the Carraro axle. Carraro is a Italian manufacturer of axles. They make axles for wheeled sort of military vehicles, tractors, combine harvesters, that sort of thing. So they're pretty heavy duty. It's a beam axle or a live axle. We have universal joints in here. We also have CV joints in these drive shafts, so a little bit different from depending on what you're comparing this to. A very, very robust system. We have a ladder chassis with a very stiff steel body, so they work nicely together for body rigidity. That's good for handling on-road and off-road. Axle management here, as in keeping the axle where we want it, is achieved by a 5-link system. So we have 2 radius arms here. You can see 2 either side. There's the other 2 up there. And then we also have a track rod, or sometimes called a panhard rod, and the job of this is to keep the axle in check. So this is our chassis side here, and down here is our axle side. So the idea is that we're preventing lateral or sideways movement left to right. That's the idea with that. So really the only orientation we want the axle to work in is up and down, and it achieves that very, very well. Moving to the engine, you can see the top of the engine here, or sorry, not top of the engine, bottom of the engine. This is a 3-litre inline 6-cylinder BMW engine, turbocharged, 282 horsepower. That's connected to an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, and that is then connected at the back here to a Tremec 2-speed, as in high and low, transfer case, and then the same setup on the back end. That's also 5-link, also CV joints in the drive shafts. So it gives you a very robust and effective platform for doing what we're asking it to do.
The Grenadier already has a surprising amount of aftermarket support considering how new it is. And features like the integrated power ports for lights and wraparound mounting points make it really easy to install just about anything you want. It's almost weird to see one without a roof rack, but there are scuff guards for strapping stuff down from the side rails. Or just throw a half or full-length rack up there on the standard station wagon model shown here. You can also opt for the Quartermaster pickup truck version if you need an open bed. Note the latch points at each corner and the dual wheel wells for spare tires. The interior looks and feels premium. The vast array of mechanical switches is a welcome departure from having everything controlled by a touchscreen. And you can even finish off your build with a color-matched gas can. Overall, Rob and I came away really impressed with the Grenadier. Not just its off-road prowess, but the entire package, from a delightfully analog cockpit to the powerful drivetrain and to the comfortable interior and solid manners. It's also worth mentioning that my wife saw one around town a week later and actually called me to comment on how much she liked its looks, which is saying something. Now, I just gotta start saving up for one. If you want to see more photos and specs on the Ineos Grenadier, head over to adventurouswayoflife.com and hit subscribe if you want to see more reviews, overviews, and factory tours from your favorite Overland and Vanlife brands.